Hello YouTube, this is Kits and Cards, and now we'll be opening two of the DMRP 15. They are the most recent DMRP sets before DMEX 13 came out, but DMEX 13 is a special booster. So let's start. And by the way, this boxes features the last 4 kingdoms of the 10 kingdoms block. One is Bikuri, who is uses the ability Vivid Draw. It's very similar to MTG's Miracle. When you draw Vivid Draw cards, you may pay it with its Vivid Draw cost, which is lesser than the original mana cost of the card. And also, it introduces Mugen Crime. Mugen Crime functions is also a graveyard ability. When a creature with the Mugen Crime ability is on the graveyard, you may pay the cost and tap the number of creatures required to summon it from your graveyard. It's like Ushigiverse, but it's not the same. They have a different feel. Pushigiverse is more on the green-black spectrum, which causes mana acceleration. Meanwhile, Mugen Crime it's tricky to do because it's water and darkness. So it requires something to think about on when or how will you able to use the Mugen Crime mechanic. And the third mechanic is this, a barret chain. When one of your creatures attack, when it's the first attack, it gives effect to that creature. So it's very interesting because I don't think it's that strong, but maybe a deck will emerge. I think it's a swarm type ability where you flood the board and make the enemy panic about the first attack that will happen. Maybe that's the point of a barret chain. And this one is from the other kingdom. I forgot the name of the kingdom, but the ability is Oshioko Moon. Oshioko Moon triggers when one of your shield was removed from your shield zone and the ability occurs. It's like Oni Time gives the effect when you have 6 or less shields. If you and your opponent has 6 or less shields, Oshioko Moon triggers every time you lose a shield. So I think when you build a darkness, light, and fire civilization deck, a good combination would be this kingdom and the Onifuda kingdom. And this is a Bikuri kingdom card, another card with a barret chain. And this is the Mugen Crime. As you can see here, it's Mugen Crime 2. You tap two of your own creatures on the battlefield and you pay 2 water mana to be able to summon this card. And the double effect shield trigger from the Abari Kingdom. This is also a staple in a Mugen Crime deck. This is low to cast. This is a special. This is the ability Vivid Draw. As you can see, the cost of this card is 3, but when you draw it, you may reveal it to your opponent and declare that you cast it for Vivid Draw. When you cast it for Vivid Draw, you pay. If you cast it for Vivid Draw, you pay 2 instead of 3, and you draw 2 cards. That's the effect of this one. Another Abara Chain card. And by the way, Onifuda and Kirifuda kingdom cards are present all throughout the three proposed 10 Kingdoms expansion. So we'll see Joe cards here and Onifuda cards here. I think this also introduced a new mechanic instead of Oni time. DMRP 15 also presents Oni End. Oni End is an ability that triggers when one player, either you or your opponent, has no shields. Oni End triggers. So it's both offensive and defensive ability, which made Onifuda Kingdom really strong. So this is our first SR. This one is from the Mugen Kingdom, and it has the ability Mugen Crime 3. Also, this set has that panorama pack, which has either the Bikuri, the Oshiyoko, and the Mugen Kingdoms. Sadly, the one with the Abari Chain, the Kingdom with the Abari Chain, doesn't have that treatment. And I don't know if in the future they'll release a special set for that kingdom, because it's hardly promoted. It's not really much, didn't get the love it needed. So this one is our first BR from the Bikuri Kingdom. And spell. Our double effect shield trigger from the Bikuri Kingdom. This is also a staple for the Mugen Crime decks. Our second SR is from the Onifuda Kingdom, and this is also a good card, Brain Book. It's a 2-card Brainstorm effect, and later if we get that card, I'll show a small combo in the Bikuri Kingdom that is trending right now. And it involves this Brain Book, but it also involves a card from EX13. Wow, we get our first Kingdom pack, and this is from the Oshiyoko Moon. And there we go, our first King Master Rare. Wow, this card is really, it glows. Look at this, the yellow parts here. They may look like yellow, but these are neon green, and the card is very vibrant. Very strong colors are used in this one. It really pops out. And from the Mugen Kingdom, double effect shield triggers. Oh, and I think this is our third BR. Oh no, this is only our second BR. This is a card I'm telling you about. Combo with this brain book. So the effect of this card is you draw a card, then you may play a creature with a cost 7 or less into the battle zone, and it also gains speed attacker. So this is a good card to combo with this card. Because of this card is 6, but using Brain Book, you may set this up on the top of your deck and draw it for your 4th turn. Then you have the mana to play this card. So play this on turn 3, then you play this on turn 4 instead of playing this in turn 6. And you play a card, you play a creature that has an effect that casts spells from the graveyard. And when you do, you cast this card again, and once again you draw a card, and you can, but the after casting, this one goes to the bottom of your deck, so you can't chain it too much unless you have 2 copies of this card in your graveyard and you are able to discard it on your 3rd or 2nd turn. And it's possible because there are cards that makes you discard a hand and then draw a card, but we'll see. There might be a big setup to happen, but it's probably it can probably happen. Or when your enemy makes you discard a card, you discard this and then you get your 2nd copy of this. When you have 3 creatures that cast spells from the graveyard, and then you bring them all up, and you can probably kill your opponent on turn 4 or turn 5. Oops. Didn't notice this one. Sorry. A VR from the Joe Kingdom. I'm not really fan of the Joe cards. I don't like the artwork of the cards. And shield figure. This one is our King Master pack for this box. And this is for the Mugen Kingdom. This one is a powerful card. So you can see, even though the cost is infinity, its power is also infinity, and it has blocker, so it can kill everything. But it can also get killed when a card has a Slayer though. So it's only Mugen Crime 4. You tap 4 cards and you pay 4 mana, This can come as early as turn 4. This card is devastating when it hits the battlefield, but it can be countered though. It's a good thing it doesn't have indestructible, so it's pretty killable card. And you can also bounce it. Another VR from the Bikoy Kingdom. I think this one has a deck on the older sets. I forget the effect of this card. Also, this is another good card for the Onyx Fuda Kingdom. This has the ability of only end, and you can cast it when an opponent attacks you when either of you has no shields. You may cast this straight away, even though it's your turn or your opponent's turn. And the effect is you put 4 cards into your graveyard, and you choose one of them and you put it to the battlefield regardless of the cost, and you may have it fight another creature in the battle zone. So you may look like you have already lost when you have no shields, but if it's in the hand, it's in your hand, you can still fight with that card. And when you get the King Master Rare, which is King Jaoga, it can wipe the board and negate the attack, so the opponent cannot give you the finishing blow anymore. And that's very nice. And on the next turn, when it goes back to you, you can now hit them and probably end the game with you winning. Also, this is another of that Abarichin card. This is our 4th VR, I think. Sorry, the cards are all piled up here. I'll arrange it later. We'll have a recap anyway. Oh, another SR. And I think this one is a chase card. I see it in many Oshiroko Moon deck, but I'll post the effects later. And our last of our King Master pack. And this one. The ability of this card is to draw 3, and it's a triple breaker. I also think it's a speed attacker. But the King Master rares here are very great. It also has that highlight in the cards. And this one is a very vibrant orange. I hope you can see in the camera, but see that? It's neon orange glow in all of those lines. And here, all of these doesn't have that neon shine. This one has that neon green shine. So the Magi Bomber King Master, it also have that neon green sign. So another for Oshiroko Moon. I think this is a Oshiroko Moon box. You get a lot of support for Oshiroko Moon in this box. We'll have a recap later regarding the supports and how many we got. Sadly, we didn't get the Abarichin SR. It's very good to have because Abarichin doesn't have its own King Master pack. Another Brain Book. So I'll clean up a bit and make a recap. For our recap, here are uh, our three guaranteed King Master rares. These are our 3 SRs. One Onifuda, one Oshioko Moon, and one Mugen Kingdom. And for the VRs, luckily we got 2 Abari Chain cards, 2 VV Draw, one of the doesn't have Kirifudash, but it's from the Kirifuda Kingdom that we forgot to sleeve, and one of this Oshioko Moon VR. So thank you for watching. Feel free to like it, subscribe, and comment, and stay tuned for part 2.